You just collected 30 lab reports. Half of them are a mess. Hypothesis section is 3 words long, data tables are chaos, the conclusion restates the introduction. And your instinct, because you have 100 other things to grade this week, is to slap a score on it and move on. Maybe a 42 out of 100, maybe a D-. You hand it back, the kid flips to the last page, sees the grade, and shoves it in the bottom of their backpack. What did they learn? That they're bad at lab reports. That's it. A 0 on a first attempt teaches exactly one thing. Don't try. I'm Ben, and on the teacher's bookshelf, we take one powerful book and apply it to decisions teachers actually face. Today, the book is Angela Duckworth's Grit, and the decision is this. What do you do with first attempts in science class? Duckworth's central argument is that talent is overrated and effort is undervalued. And she gives us a formula to prove it. Talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. Notice what's happening. Effort shows up twice. Talent matters, sure, but effort gets double the weight because it converts talent into skill and then converts skill into results. When you slap a final grade on a first attempt, you're measuring talent. You're measuring what a kid could do before they practiced. You're ignoring the multiplier. But here's where it gets really specific. Duckworth builds on Anders Ericsson's research on deliberate practice, and Ericsson told her something that changed her whole framework. He said, most people who appear to be practicing aren't actually improving. He used the example of going for a jog. Thousands of people run every single day for years and never get faster. Why? Because jogging isn't deliberate practice. It's missing the 4 requirement. Deliberate practice requires a stretch goal that targets a specific weakness. It requires full concentration on that goal. It requires immediate feedback on what's working and what isn't. And it requires repetition with refinement, doing it again, but better based on what you learned. Now, map that onto what happens when you hand back a graded lab report with no revision opportunity. There's no stretch goal because the assignment is done. There's no concentration on improvement because the kid already mentally moved on. There's no immediate feedback because a letter grade isn't feedback, it's a verdict. And there's certainly no repetition with refinement because you never asked them to try again. You've turned what should be practice into a one-shot performance. And here's the consequence Duckworth warns about. You create what she calls fragile perfects. These are your high-achieving students who have figured out how to succeed but have never learned to fail. They optimize for getting it right the first time because your system only rewards the first time. The moment they hit something genuinely difficult, they collapse because they have 0 experience with productive struggle. So how do you fix this? Duckworth points to research by David Yeager and Yeager Cohen on wise feedback. They ran an experiment where teachers gave students critical feedback on essays. One group got the feedback with a post-it note that said, I'm giving you these comments because I have very high expectations and I know you can reach them. That single sentence doubled the number of students who chose to revise their work. Doubled. Not because the feedback was different, because the message around the feedback changed from, here's what's wrong with you, to here's what I believe you can become. That's the mindset shift. First attempts aren't final evaluations, they're data collection. They tell you where a student is, not where they'll end up. And as Duckworth puts it, enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare. Your job isn't to grade enthusiasm of a first attempt. Your job is to build the endurance that turns a rough draft into mastery. So bring this into your science classroom on Monday. When those lab reports come in, don't score them as finished products. Score them as first attempts and structure what comes next as deliberate practice. Give feedback on one specific weakness. Not 7 things wrong, 1 thing. A stretch goal that they can actually focus on. Then require a revision. Make the revision part of the grade. Not extra credit, not optional. Part of the actual assessment. Here's your Monday morning action. Create a 3-column tracker. Column 1, first attempt score. Column 2, specific feedback on 1 weakness. Column 3, revision score. Every lab report, every major assignment runs through all 3 columns. The grade that goes in your gradebook is the revision score, not the first attempt. And on every single first attempt you hand back, attach the wise feedback note. Write it on a sticky note, print it on the rubric, whatever works for your system. The message is, I'm giving you this feedback because I have high expectation and I know you can reach them. You're not lowering your standards, you're raising them. Because you're telling students that the standard isn't what you can produce on your first try. The standard is what you can produce after you've practiced. That is what Duckworth means by grit. talent, not getting it right immediately. The sustained effort to improve at something that matters. Tell me in the comments, do you let students revise lab reports, or is the first attempt the final grade? I genuinely want to know, because I think this one decision shapes how students see science more than almost anything else we do. Keep building mastery. If you'd like a pre-built 3-column tracker, just head on over to ta.ai/teachers bookshelf resources and you'll find one there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.